Hey everybody, welcome into Rock Painting 101. Today I have another fun fluid art tutorial for you. Now I've done some pour painting in the past, but this is a different technique you can use where you swipe the paint once you've poured it and it gives you amazing results. Now I've already gone ahead and put a nice glossy clear coat on these because it really makes those colors pop. I'm starting with some beautiful flat white Capcouriers rocks, which are perfect for getting beautiful pour painting effects. So enjoy the tutorial and let me know what you think in the comments below. So for today's tutorial, we're going to be doing an acrylic pouring technique. It's a swipe that we're going to do on our rocks. So having smooth, flat rocks for this technique is pretty crucial. So I've got these beautiful stones from Capcouriers Rocks. You can get the large size stones. 3 come in a pack. I'm going to do 2 today because I want to make sure I have enough room to maneuver on my rack here without messing up the rocks I'm doing. So I'll put the 3rd one off to the side. But having these nice smooth rocks works fabulous. Acrylic pouring is definitely something most people do on canvases. So these are kind of like the canvases of the stone painting world because they're so smooth. You get this nice large flat surface to work with. Now I've got all of my paints back here already pre-mixed. I've got quite a few color options. We're going to do 2 different color combinations here on the rocks so you can kind of see it a few ways. And then I've got white off to the side here as well. Now the white, I did add just a bit of the sleek and shine so that I will get a little bit of cell action in that. The rest of the colors do not. The rest are just 50-50 with Floetrol, okay? So first things first, we're gonna add our white onto our rocks and just put a good dollop of it on both. We're just gonna kind of spread it out almost like you're frosting a cookie to the edges. It doesn't have to go over the edges. On these pretty white rocks, I don't mind if I've got some exposed edge at the end of this process. Kind of helps people see that, wow, they did that on a rock. So we're gonna get that out to the edges a little bit, like so. Okay, now we're gonna just start adding our paint on. I'm gonna do 2 different styles. On one I'm gonna do dots of paint, and on the other one I'm gonna do stripes of paint, and then we'll kind of compare what we like or don't like about each one when it's all said and done. So I'm gonna do stripes on this one over here. So I'm just gonna get my paint over the edge and kind of zigzag back and forth with each of the colors. And I'm gonna do the purple, the teal, and the pink on this one. I'm just going to go back and forth between my colors. Like so. And I do want them to kind of layer because when we swipe we'll get really cool cells that are composed of lots of different colors. So there we go. So I'm going to do that twice because you do want a good amount of paint on your rock before you swipe. There we go, and I'm going to do a couple bigger ones on here as well. And we're going to do dots on this other one over here. And I'm going to use the pink on this one too. We're going to do pink, orange, and yellow. So we're just going to kind of dot this one on. A little less specific on our placement here, but we do want a good amount of paint on our rock. You can layer them. And some yellow. And then we'll go back to the pink for a little bit more here. And you can pour straight out of the cup. I just find I have a little bit more control using something like a popsicle stick to kind of place the paint where I want it a little bit. All right, I'm going to do one more stripe here on this edge. I don't have much over here. There we go. Now I'm going to add a couple stripes on the striped rock and a couple polka dots on this one of the white again on the top. And then we're going to swipe them. Now you could leave your rocks like this and kind of let them flow over the edges. And they would look pretty cool just as they are, but this is a different technique, something different for you to try. So I've got over here, it's just like a plastic ruler. I have paint on my hands, a plastic ruler, and then I've got a damp cloth so that I can wipe it off in between. So what I'm gonna do is I don't have paint on this edge, and that's where I wanna pull from. So you gotta make sure you've got paint on the edge, on the side you're pulling. So I'm gonna add a couple more dots of my white here. There we go. Now we're gonna lay this right along the edge until it makes contact with all the paint. You can kind of rock it back and forth a little bit so that you've got paint on it. And then we're gonna very lightly, you don't wanna scrape the rock, you're just gonna drag across the rock, very lightly. And you see those cells creating already? Like that. Now you're gonna wipe the extra paint off. See that? Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Get some really cool cells going already. And they'll continue to kind of pop up in there. So I wiped off my ruler really good. Don't want too much moisture. And you gotta decide which way. I wanna pull the opposite way of these stripes. So I just wanna make sure that there's a good enough amount of paint at the top for me to kind of attach as I'm starting. So I'm gonna put one more little glob of white paint there. Now this is kind of a funnier shaped rock, so I'm gonna have to kind of lay it as I pull because it's not gonna completely make contact up here. So I'm gonna kind of lay it a little bit more horizontal here. We're gonna very gently try to pull on the rock here. We might have to do this in more than one stripe. So we're gonna pull this one right across the center here. We'll wipe off the extra paint. Come down this side. Remember, nice and gentle. If you hear a scrape, you're pushing too hard. You do not want to scrape your rock. See if we can get some of these sides a little bit here. Ooh, look at those pretty colors. So you definitely want to do this with colors that are okay to kind of blend a little bit because they are going to blend a little on you. But look at those cells popping up. I'm going to wipe this off and we'll let these kind of do their magic. These look amazing. I love them. I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer here so you can see them. Just look at all of these phenomenal cells. Beautiful. This one over here. So I have to allow these time to dry. When you do pour painting on rocks like this, they might be dried to the touch within 24 hours or so, but it can take longer for the paint itself to cure. So I like to give them at least 3 or 4 days of dry time before I write on them if I'm going to add words, and before I seal them. Now when they dry, the colors will kind of dull a little bit. You'll lose a little bit of that shine, but don't worry, when you seal them, you'll get all of that shine back to your rock. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit different technique and style of acrylic pouring. Make sure if you want to try something out, you need to get yourself some really flat rocks. These Capcouriers rocks are perfect for this. If you want something a little smaller, they also have smaller packs, but these large white ones are great because they give you this surface you can actually see all these beautiful cells developing on. So I'm going to let these sit. They're going to continue to do their thing over time. I will take pictures once they're done settling, and you'll be able to see them in their full beauty here at the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this technique. We'll see you soon with something new. Bye-bye.